I like you a lot, but you gotta step up.
Hello and welcome to the Daisy Dates Podcast, where we discuss all things dating, firsts, maybe some lasts, and probably some heartbreak as well. We're going to overshare, let's face it. I'm Daisy.
And I'm Sharn.
And well, this is our first episode, so maybe you could get to know us a little bit better. I know, we're very excited. You will. And of course, we want to get to know you as well. So we're just going to ask each other a few questions so that you can kind of get an inclination into our personalities.
Yes, we tried to find ones that we thought you'd want to know about people that you didn't know yet. So a little bit juicy.
I'm going for you first.
Oh, right, okay.
I feel quite nasty.
Okay.
I'm asking you today, Sharn, what you think your red flag is.
Okay, so outing myself. So my red flag is probably oversharing.
Okay.
And like oversharing about my sex life with boys that I've just met.
Do you?
Swear. Oh, I'm awful. Oversharing about family stuff that maybe my family wouldn't want a random boy that I'm never going to see again after a date. I'm an oversharer. Red flag. It's fine.
Yeah. No, it's hard though sometimes when you feel comfortable, but then when they disappear off the face of the earth, it's really annoying when you've told them stuff.
I'm not comfortable. Maybe it's a nervous thing. I just like to share my life. I like people to understand me.
I think it's when you're a personable person. It's not always a bad thing, but I'm trying to be better at not telling every randomer everything about myself.
Literally.
Men like mystery, don't they?
They like mystery and not to know every sexual encounter that you've ever had in your life. Oh, God. Red flag. Okay, so my red flag... What would be a green flag that you look for like in a partner or in a boy when dating?
Right, that is so easy for me, to be honest. It's being a really good communicator.
Yes,
yeah, you know, I talk for a living. I can totally express my feelings. I have no problem doing it. So I really need a guy that is really able to do that. That if they can talk and you can discuss problems, then I think you can always get through stuff in life generally, hopefully.
I think that's something you more think about as you get older.
Yeah.
I didn't care about communication when I was younger. When I got into my late 20s, I'm like, I need him to be able to sit and talk to me.
I was like, green flag, six pack. Well, that's still it now, but...
Yeah, I mean, that's still a red flag. I mean, green flag.
Okay, how do you think your friends would describe you? Maybe in 3 words.
Okay, 3 words. Funny. It's my personality trait. It's funny, I hope. Funny, kind, confrontational maybe a little bit.
Okay, I don't think that's a totally bad thing though. I'd say I'm confrontational.
Yeah, confrontational, or like I like a good debate.
Yeah.
More than like I'm about to fight you for no reason. More like I just like a bit of a debate.
Would you debate on a first date?
Yeah, I love a debate on a first date. Talking about my red flag for somebody else, it's someone that agrees with everything that I say. Hate it. That's a red flag.
Yeah, fair enough.
Red flag. So, yeah, maybe a little bit confrontational. Okay, so I did my red flag for me.
Yeah.
So I want to know what would be an ick that you do that maybe a boy would find as an ick.
So I hate all things like bad habits. So I like to think that I don't really have any. Like if someone's biting their nails in front of me, I'm like, stop. So I don't do anything like that. But I gave myself the ick the other day. I was at the gym and I was like, if a guy was doing this, massive ick. So I was doing the lap machine because I'm working on my back at the minute for Bali. And I couldn't reach the top to kind of change the bar. So I needed the long bar and it was just a handle.
Daisy's a short girl.
Yeah.
Short queen.
5'3". And so I asked the guy next to me, unfortunately, like if he was like my type, that would have been a great kind of chat line. He wasn't. I was genuinely asking for help. So he gets up and helps me. Then he's stumbling. He can't quite reach. He's like, hold on, I'll just hold the handle and then you click it on. And I'm like missing the hook where it clicks on. And you know when you're like, this is so, I said, should it be this hard? And he was going, probably not. No, probably shouldn't take 2 people. And I was like,
no, she told me this story just before we got on and it was literally like a 30-second story. She didn't say he was struggling. That makes it worse.
It was just 2 people icking out together.
Was he short?
I don't know. Well, I think he did say, I'm not much taller than you, but I don't, because I'm so short, I don't see height in guys as much as some girls do.
Just in my head, I'm seeing these two little short people that are just like trying to reach something, and someone's like, someone go and help those two over there.
Yeah, I icked out and I was like, this is where it's so double standard, isn't it? Because I was doing that, I was like, why can't he just do it all smoothly? Yeah. But that was me. So I think that would have given me the ick for sure.
Yeah, what a new ick you've got there.
Yeah, niche ick. Yeah. What would you say would be like your ideal date, ideal first date?
Oh, it's hard. It's changed. You know, back in the day, I used to say Sea Life Centre. Otters are my favourite animals, and I think I just used to think it was cute if a boy would take me to see the otters.
No way.
Yes,
I was not expecting
that's what I always say. I'm full of surprises. I used to say Sea Life Centre, but you know, and everyone always says to me, like, you need more from a date, but I really like a drive. I like a drive, a chill. If I could pick and it was like romantic, I'd like to go somewhere where I could see the sunset, love a sunrise, get a pizza in the back of the car. If it was like a truck, even better. Chill.
Truck?
Yeah,
Wow.
like, you know, those big ones with like the back on that you could just put like blankets on and stuff.
Yeah, get yourself a tradie girl.
Yeah, if you're saying like dream, like that would be it. Like, I would just like a little drive and talking and the sun's going down, and that would be mine. What would be yours?
Yeah, that's lovely. That's where like living in Wales or something would just be beautiful. I think I like to cut it back. If a guy goes too posh on a first date, that can give me the ick a little bit. Like, I don't need something fancy on the first date. We're getting to know each other. And I also think if you can do that for every girl, it's not special anyway.
True.
So, unfortunately, I didn't like the guy at the time, but actually, it would have been a great date if I did. He took me for a picnic.
Nice, that's similar to my vibe.
Actually, he gave me the ick because he had made...
He went south real quick.
He'd made homemade quesadillas.
Quesadillas?
That's it, yeah. And they were obviously like a bit cold, but he'd made them like, he was a gym boy, so he was like, oh, I've made like chicken quesadillas, all healthy. And they were like wrapped up in tissue, and yeah, he did buy me like a little alcoholic wine.
I think this
like,
sounds cute.
It was.
I tried.
You know what? He's got a lovely girlfriend now, and they look really happy. And I'm like, you know what? He deserved it because he put in a lot of effort. He just wasn't for me. But I think that kind of date, he chose a really nice viewpoint. This is the ick. He asked my size shoe before the date.
Where's this going?
By text. And I thought that we were going to go bowling. And I said, look, mate, I'm really not down for bowling if it's that kind of vibe. Yeah. I get there. He's bought Next plimsolls in a size 4 because he wanted it to be such a surprise that he didn't know what shoes I'd turn up in. So in case I turned up in heels, he had plimsolls for me to walk to this viewpoint in a park in Leeds because I was living in Leeds at the time. And I was like, that's a little bit psycho, isn't it?
I don't know. I'm really struggling about whether that's cute or not.
Really?
Like, he was really stressed that you wouldn't have the right shoes. But like, couldn't you just tell him to wear? You're not giving away a picnic if you just say, by the way, don't wear heels.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and what colour were they?
White plimsolls. You know the plimsolly types that you wear to school,
I think
like
it
in
was
PE?
cute. I don't know if it would. Did you put them on?
No.
Oh, I don't know.
I just snorted over the mic. I did not put them on. No way did I. Are you joking?
I don't know if I would have thought that was an ick. I'd say, oh, bless you, hun, but I'm all right. Honestly, I'm finding my stilettos.
Well, this is why there's someone for everyone. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that girl wore those plimsolls and she got those quesadillas and she got her man.
Yeah, she looks like she's going to have a ring on that finger soon as well. So who's the real winner here?
Yeah,
hey?
yes.
You know what? Yeah, I'd say a picnic. Maybe don't cook your own quesadillas. Maybe just bring like some snacks and...
Or wrap them in foil.
Yeah.
Tissue isn't the vibe.
I'll bring the wine, you bring some like little M&S hummus bits. I don't know. But yeah, I think a nice picnic, which we don't get the privilege of necessarily in England with the weather, but that's the vibe, I think.
Cute, yeah, similar to mine. I like that.
Lovely. Okay, well, I think you've gotten to know us a little bit.
Yeah, did you enjoy that?
Yeah, we went off on a tangent, which I'm sure is going to happen loads in this series. So episode 1 was an easy decision for us, wasn't it?
Yes.
This is dating people at work, colleagues, and this is because we were both dating people when we met. So myself and Sharn met at a work event, and we obviously bonded over dating as you do, and we both realised that we were both dating guys from work.
Yes, and I am a social media manager, videographer. That's my job. So the boy that I started to see, I had to film him, which is very intimate. And when I told Daisy, she was like, no, the boy that I've just ended it with is a videographer that has to film me at work. And I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
She's foreshadowing my future.
Literally. So you had to see this guy on camera, and I always felt for the guy having to film me, really. I mean, I loved it when we were dating. When we weren't, I was like, this is so awkward. But I guess the thing is, I never understood how people met at work. Like, you often see, and in my Daisie Dates Facebook group as well, people often say, like, I have a crush, but how do you know if it's reciprocated, and how awkward is it if it isn't reciprocated, and then you ruin that vibe? So I looked back on my experience and how it happened. And I guess it was set up in a way.
Okay.
We'd always had a kind of flirtatious, like friendship, I guess. He always had a girlfriend, so it was never crossed a line at all. It always got quite flirtatious on set anyway. I'll be working with a lot of guy cameramen. It was all just a little bit of fun. We never had each other's number or anything, obviously. And I was always single, so he knew everything about my dating life. How I will be oversharing on this podcast, he and all of my colleagues, they hear it all. Do you know what I mean? So he knew the ins and outs, which is why when he became single, I never thought he'd like me, because, again, he knew every experience of mine. And sometimes I think they can find that a little bit off-putting. But a girl at work texts me like, he's single, by the way. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to DM him. And it took him a while to let me know. But eventually he was DMing me, and I was like, you probably shouldn't be talking to me like that if you're in a relationship. Obviously, I knew he was single. So I just nudged him along for him to tell me that he was single.
That many times.
Have you? So he was like, oh, I'm actually single. And I was like, oh. And then he was like, I hate messaging on Instagram. You should just really have my number. And that's how it started. So it was fun. It started in a fun way. It was weird. I don't know if we ever would have had the conversation if our friend didn't say, by the way, he's single, and let me know. But how did yours start?
So mine was a little bit easier. He's a musician and I work in events, and we'd actually worked together, which I don't think he even knows, but I know because I can look through the content, that we worked together, not to stalk him, but I was just looking for a show reel and I found them and I was like, oh, we've actually met before. So we had seen each other a few times at an event, and it was in December. We had a Christmas event and we had an after party, like a mini little after party after the event. And I remember looking at the band, and I knew the band, but I hadn't recognised him. And I looked and I thought, oh, he's a bit of me. And that was it. I left. And I followed him on Instagram. And when I followed him, it looked like he had a girlfriend like yours. I thought, oh, he's got a girlfriend, leave it, forget it. And then in February, so it's a while had passed, we had a party coming up in about a week. So I was going to see him in a week, and I knew that. And I was on Bumble swiping away, and there he comes.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
He's up. So I'm like, maybe he hasn't got a girlfriend. So I went onto his Instagram, looked at the date, and it was like a year ago. And I was like, oh, okay, he obviously hasn't got a girlfriend. So I thought, this is embarrassing to admit, but he knows it, so it's fine. I thought, let me just see if he matches me. I'm not going to speak to him on Bumble. We work together. It's very awkward. I'm seeing him in a week, but let me just see if we match. Matched him. And I was like, oh, that means he fancies me too. And then I unmatched him immediately. Unmatched him immediately.
The games, Sharn, the games.
Well, I thought, if you think about it, like, it only comes up saying one new match on the screen. It doesn't say Sharn has matched you.
Yeah.
So I just thought he'll never know. He'll just go on. He'll think that app has glitched. And really, it was me the whole time. But then we saw each other at the party a week later, and he complimented me. I was working on the door and he complimented me. I thought, that's weird because we don't even know each other. We don't speak. The party was fine, and then we had another after party, and I could tell he was trying to talk to me. I could tell he was following me about, and I was so drunk, and I messaged my friends being like, oh, that boy that I unmatched on Bumble is like following me about, and I feel really awkward. I get awkward sometimes. Sometimes I'm confident, sometimes I'm not. And then he asked me if he could pull me for a chat. Oh, Love Island vibes. He was like, can you pull me for a chat? Can you come for a chat? I was like, yeah. And he's like, why did you unmatch me on Bumble? Busted. I was immediately busted.
Knew.
Inspector Gadget was on Bumble, and he saw.
He was on it live, like watching it pan out.
He saw it. He went to message me. It disappeared. He knew it was Meg. But it was easy for us to know that we both fancied each other because we both matched each other on Bumble.
So then who kind of initially made that first move? Was it you?
Well, because he had asked me and pulled me for the chat, I feel like he said to me afterwards, he was like, I manifested that I was going to speak to you that night that I got to the party.
Love a man into manifestation.
Yeah, he was like, look, I manifest speaking to you. And I was like, hon, I also did my own manifesting, okay? I knew I was going to speak to you at the party as well. So I think we were both just on the same vibe. We were both just wanting to speak to each other. And then, you know, like, if I wasn't drunk, we might have just messaged afterwards and gone on a date. But no judgment here on the podcast.
It's a judgment-free zone.
It's a judgment-free zone, okay, guys? I was drunk. It was exciting. I'm dating. I was single for a while.
What are you going to tell us?
One thing led to another. And that night, we slept together.
Oh, that's fine. I thought you don't know what you were going to say. That's fine. Girl, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, we slept together that night and it was all very accelerated. And I had a hotel room and it was all very accelerated, which did mean that I had to bring him downstairs the next day in front of my clients and in front of my colleagues. And this is what makes it awkward about work, because all of my colleagues were downstairs. He didn't have a hotel room. I did. So it was obvious that we had stayed together.
Yeah.
So then from there we started speaking and I was seeing him the following week and we went out there again. We kissed a lot. It was all very much a bubble. We kissed a lot. Like, I think out of everybody I've dated, I think he's the person I've kissed most because we kissed so much. There was no talking. Now that I look back, it wasn't much talking. It was just a lot of kissing.
Yeah.
So it was all just very accelerated because of that first night, and then it happened again the week after, and then we went on a proper date. But now that I think back to it, 90% of the time we were both drunk.
You're living a parallel, really. You were living a parallel to what I had, because I was also in a hotel with work a lot of the time. So that automatically accelerates it, because it's exciting not being in your own environments. It feels like a holiday, doesn't it?
Exactly.
And what is interesting about dating people at work is I knew a completely different person. So who I thought I knew as a friend, a shy, lovely, kind boy. I'm not saying he's not kind, but I did think he was this shy, really kind of empathetic person, which isn't the person I ended up dating.
Okay.
He was sensitive, but in the end, how he kind of treated me and stuff, it was a very different person. And also in the other way of like the photos he was asking of me and things that he was sending. And I just had never, obviously, because he was a colleague, seen that side to him ever. So that's what's weird about dating people at work, that you think that you can kind of know people at work and be their friend, but actually to date, they're a completely different person. So where for years, right, I've kind of filmed with him and been like, oh, he's such a nice boy, like all the nice boys are taken. And then obviously when he wasn't, and it was my chance to date him, I said to my friends, like, that guy always said, like, he's such a nice boy and we get on so well if only he was single. He's single. But actually, I got the chance to date him and it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. Because, and like, he's great for someone else, but like the personality that was there and, you know, the things that he wanted to say by text, like, it wasn't my vibe. We were doing long distance. So if someone wants to get a little bit explicit on the phone by text, I get it. But we didn't know each other well enough in a dating sense. He tried to make it so quick from friendship to that, and it was like we didn't change gear enough. It went too quick.
But do you genuinely think that, like, it could have gone at the time? Did you feel like it really could have gone somewhere, or did it feel different because of work? Or
it's such a hard question, because in hindsight, which is beautiful obviously, in hindsight I'm like, it was just a stopgap for him, single until he found his way. And I think maybe it was a bit of a time filler for both of us over Christmas. I wasn't sure on him the whole time. I was like, I don't know if he's my one, but then how do you ever know?
Yeah.
For him particularly, something that he said that I would, at the time I was like, is this a red flag? He said, at least this will make work exciting. And at the time, he wasn't very happy at work.
You're a videographer, it's an exciting job. That should be enough.
But he was looking for other work. And I just think when he said that, I was just to make his time exciting until he left, which luckily he did leave. So I don't have to work with him anymore. Which I had to assure my director. I was like, I promise you he hasn't left because of me. Like, he was always leaving, which they knew. Yeah. But there was that, like, how do you decipher that it's a true connection or whether it is just fun at work? Because we spend so much time with people at work that can really get lost in the mix. And I do think it did for me. I did like him and I was really hurt, but I guess, no, I didn't really think we would be long term based on our personality differences. I'm very strong and I don't know, I'm just very strong and upfront, confrontational, and I guess I'm sensitive in the way that if someone ghosts me or hurts me, I'm sensitive.
Yeah.
But I'm not sensitive day to day. Someone can make a joke about me and I'm absolutely grand with it. Whereas he was the opposite.
It's just that you thought you were going to be dating somebody else based off what you already knew about him.
Yeah, and that's what's different. You know, you can pine over people as well. Even when you see people, I don't know, in a bar, you might keep seeing out, they're not giving you the time of day and you're like, oh, I really like that person. Sometimes I remind myself, you know what?
Expectation versus reality sometimes true.
Yeah.
See, for me, I was a complete parallel to what you were going through. So I actually felt like he never really got to know me because I was constantly in work mode, even whilst dating him.
Yeah.
Because I was conscious of the fact that we had to work together in the future, and if it did end, then he could tell people at work deep stuff about me, and I didn't want to go too deep. To be fair, like, he's a business owner, he has a business, and there was scope to work together in the future, and I thought if it ended, I don't want to ruin the relationship that we could work together, like collaborate on something. So I felt like when it ended, I wasn't, and rejection is a big thing for me. So I don't like to be rejected. It's like a phobia. But it was the first time I was ever, the way it ended was very kind of mutual. He didn't know, he thought we was on the same page. We were literally in different books. So I don't know where he was going with that one. But he literally was like, I feel like we're taking the next step. I was like, I feel like we are casually dating. And I mean, we've been drunk 90% of the time. How can you class that as dating? That is casually dating.
Maybe you shot yourself in the foot though. A little bit, do you know what I mean?
What, because he thought we was taking the next step and I thought we were just
and
casual.
then you kind of did like him in the end, didn't you?
No, I don't think. And I don't live my life in a way that's like, yeah, okay, this is going to be my partner. And he seemed to. He was like, I feel like it's kind of taking the next step now. And I was like, oh, hold on, I'm just taking it as a
This is what is going to be
Wednesday.
so ironic though, because I'm looking for that person that can be like, yes, I can see you as my. And then there's people going around like you that are just like, no, get out my face.
I was a bit blindsided. I was like, we're taking the next step, are we? Because I thought that we were slow, steady, and drunk. Like that is what I saw. So when it ended, I thought, you know what? That's not. I can't take that as a rejection because he didn't get to know Meg, and I don't know whether I got to know him because the Sharny he met was a very much work Sharny. He did not see me in any sort of deep level. He really only got to know me at work. Very happy, very businesswoman. I'm happy, and seeing nothing else because I live every day to day. That's how I live my life. I just thought, this might end, this is casual, I might work with him in the future, let's keep this a bit chill and he doesn't need to know everything about me.
And I do think that's where dating at work can be hard because there's automatically a bar.
Yes.
But then there's the other side that can be really fun. So I was adamant that we didn't tell anyone.
Okay.
So no one knew. And there's that added bit of fun when no one knows. Because there was a time when we were all filming and I think someone made a little bit of a innuendo to me, and I think there was a time where someone was like, oh, have you seen the new guy? He's fit, Daisy, he'll do well for you. And like oh, you should ask him out, because no one knew that I was dating the guy right in front of us. So that was quite a fun element to it. And eventually, you know, you get the whispers like, oh, did I see them kiss at the Christmas party? Yes, you did. So all of that kind of stuff. But I liked that. But ultimately, have you been able to kind of keep anything there with your person, like a friendship or whatever it was that was there before?
Yeah, no. Well, one, ours was so far away from secret. I mean, I bought the poor dishevelled lad down from the hotel room. Obvious what happened. So that was a thing as well. And I actually found that a bit intense, that everybody I spoke to at work, and I spend a lot, my job's very social, I spend a lot of time with people at work.
Yeah.
I nearly said his name.
No, don't do that. We're not doing that on the podcast.
But I would constantly be like, oh, how is he? Oh, how are you both doing? Oh, you still... And I just thought, oh, leave us be. Like, we're drunk. That's like the one word about our dating life was that we were drunk. But I haven't seen him yet. And that's like... I think it will probably be awkward the first time we see each other, and he said he's the least awkward person ever, and I'm sure he thinks that. But everyone's going to be a little bit awkward that they dated, slept with at work. Like, it's always going to be a little bit awkward. But we got on when we were going out, and we like went out for a date, like out to a club for a date, and we had the best time. And I'd go out with him again, like in a friendship, I'll be your wing woman kind of way. So I hope that the next time I see him, that we can be friends. But it is very intimate because you see it from the side of you were having the video taken of yourself. I find it really intimate to take a video of somebody, especially that I've been dating, that's so close. And I mean, you've seen my camera lens, it is close. You've seen it. It is a close camera lens, and like seeing and him playing a musical instrument, and I can look back on that footage. Like, I feel that's really like intimate, and I just wish that I had a different job for the first time that I see him. I just wish that I was one playing the musical instrument. Yeah, that's the main thing that I'm worried about, is that like, what I'm going to do, just not record him. Then my clients are like, why did you not get the one person playing that one instrument? Like, why was he not there? I've got to film him, and it's just so close and like awkward, and people already feel awkward enough with me with the camera in the face without him being like, I remember when we dated and then you was at my house and I was dishevelled at the hotel and we were trying to do business deals in a club. Like, it's all going to be very awkward, but
it will be fine. And that's where that switch to professionalism really turns on. Like, the guy I dated really used to get annoyed that like after work I'd leave, I'd say bye to everyone, he'd kind of come out to my car hoping for a kiss, and I was like, no, like, you'll have to meet me across the road in the pub. We're not doing that on work premises. No way. Like, that's my job and that's my career is everything. Like, no one can get in the way of that. And if you know, you don't know the rules of dating at work. Some workplaces are really funny about it. And if we were to get in trouble, or if they were like, Daisy, you can't work here, I'm a freelancer. Nothing is secure for me.
And I think that's different dating as freelancers.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's more scary.
And the boy this boy that I dated at work was a blessing that came into my life, and he taught me a lot of things. And he taught me that I probably wouldn't go for somebody that was a business owner again, because when something's going on in their head, because your business is everything, and there's two of you, it was really hard for me to, especially because he was a really bad communicator. I found it really hard when he was stressed at work and he would just switch off, and I'm like, I'm just missing now. That's
hard though, because I am attracted to ambition and like the kind that do run like me, work, put their career first. So yeah, you're right. When two people come together like that, that can be really, really difficult.
It was difficult. Maybe corporate 9 to 5 built, like climbing the ladder would be more for me.
Give me a tradie any day. Yeah. Like, I'm literally, if you're a tradie and you're listening, you pop up in our DMs, please, specifically to Daisy.
I'll take another musician. I would take another musician.
Yeah, creative industries. I do like a creative as well. But what I was going to get on to, dating people at work, I mean, now looking back, I would be able to see him and be absolutely fine. At the time, I was hurt.
That's good, because I haven't heard you say that.
Really?
No, because you were still very much...
Yeah. Yeah, when we met, I was really upset and I was like, I hate him, he's horrible, I can't believe he did this to me. But when time passes, I'm actually a very forgiving person.
Okay.
If he was to text me ever and be like, I'm really sorry of how I dealt with that, it was through a kind of, he was going through the breakup still, like they were obviously not together, but he would have been dealing with those feelings whilst seeing me, which also adds a level of complexity for sure. But this is what I want to get up into, really important. So my advice for anyone listening would be always stick to your boundaries. Like, anyone can hurt you, a friend, no matter how much someone cares about you, you're always putting yourself out there. It's beautiful, but also you're putting yourself at risk of getting hurt. And I just think always stick to your boundaries. If you have clear boundaries, don't let it go just because you know someone or they've been a childhood friend or a family friend. That's what I would really listen to myself next time. If there's something I feel really strongly about, listen to it, because there were times where I thought, this isn't right. Should he be talking to me like that? Or should he be wanting to see me? Is this an excuse it is making? And I ignored it because I was like, no, it's him. Like, I had a soft spot for him.
It's empowering.
That's it.
Empowering. That's the one. It's scary the first few times that you really you like somebody, but you're like, they're crossing the boundary and then you've got to end it, because it's scary, but it gets easier every time you do it, and you feel like a goddess every time you do it, and I find it easier now. And he had a red flag that was cutting off communication.
Your guy?
Yeah. Sorry.
Really?
My guy, yes. Yeah. Cut off communication for 4 days. He did it twice, and I should have stopped it the first time. The first time he went quiet, and the first time I didn't hear off him for 4 days, I should have ended it then. So for my advice would be, when it's a red flag and it's obvious, because that is an obvious red flag that women talk about, and men, people that communicate in a way where they go and have their own time for 5 days and you're expected to sit there and just wait. That is a red flag.
And long term, I wouldn't be able to deal with it.
Exactly. So I should have ended it then. But I think it's sometimes a little bit, and I'm not saying he's manipulative, because he's not. He's really not. He's a very nice, kind boy. But it's a way that's like, I'm having a bit of a, I don't know, a problem. I'm overthinking stuff. I'm having a bit of a problem. So I'm going to disappear, but I'll have an excuse when I get back. That'll make you feel guilty, and that will make you feel bad. So now that you've gone missing for 5 days, that's a boundary that you've crossed for me. It's a red flag. But now, because you've come back with an excuse, I now have to accept it, and we can move on. But in 3 weeks later, you're about to do the same thing to me again. So my advice, if you see a red flag, and you know it's an obvious red flag that you see on Instagram, that you see on YouTube, that you see in books,
that you hear on the podcast.
Yeah, that you hear on the the podcast that literally is a red flag.
You're getting so passionate. It's some like levels.
Sorry.
So passionate about that, which is so true though, because likewise at the beginning of the podcast you asked me my green flag in someone and it was communication.
Yeah.
And again, my guy really great for someone else, but oh my god, his communication skills, considering he'd been in a very long-term relationship, were really bad.
Yeah, it doesn't mean nothing anymore. Some girls don't care.
Yeah, so
it's not on their high of their priorities.
Yeah, they might not have communicated, or he might not have known how to communicate with a newer person, but whatever it was, that was again my green flag that I looked for, and he didn't have that. So why did I continue to date him? And this is where every person is a lesson, and he was a big lesson for me.
But we just really have to take those lessons, and I feel like I'm really putting them in place with the people that I'm dating now.
That's good though. That's good that you're listening.
He was a blessing. I'm really glad he came into my life, and I hope that we can be friends when we see each other at work. But you've got to take the lessons and not just ignore them, and then the next time you get into something you're like, what? Red flag, he's gone missing for 6 days. Love that. No, Sharny, you need to stop.
Absolutely. So I put it out on the Daisy Dates Facebook group.
Okay.
If people had, and you haven't read these,
no.
So if people had dated at work or what they felt about it.
Okay.
So Jess got in touch and said, my last relationship was with someone from work. He does work on site, so I don't see him that often. It was slightly awkward at the beginning, but it's fine now. And yes, I would do it again. I said, Jess, hun, you had me on site. I am a sucker for a tradie.
Fair play for saying you'd do it again.
I know. Yeah, but Jess, she put me too. It's all about them tradie trousers. You know the one.
Never been with somebody that works on site before.
Oh, with them pockets.
Usually my people are academic.
Really?
Yeah.
We're going to get into this in another episode about our types, because it's very different, which is good, because if we go out together, we're not after the same guy.
I feel like they're more cheeky chappies, aren't they, on site?
Yeah, I like that.
Love that for you, Jess.
Rhiannon says, I have 2 kids with someone I met at work. Would never date someone from work again, though.
Oh,
I know. But that's mad, isn't it? A full-blown relationship was there.
Can happen.
Tina, I had a fling with a guy 15 years older than me at work. Never again. This is the thing that happens at work. It's
Sexy
the age
boss
gap.
at work.
Do you like the older man?
No, I usually go for younger.
Same.
But, I mean, it wouldn't be for me, but 15 years older with a sexy little suit on, I can see why you did it, for sure.
Wait, I don't go for younger, but last year I did have a little bit of a fling with someone younger, and it was a great summer fling. But normally I go for like...
I feel like you couldn't... you don't give me a vibe of younger.
No, I need mature, like 5 years older. Max, though, not that much older, not like an older man.
Yeah.
And Fiona has said, I dated a guy 12 years older than me from work that lasted 2 years.
Girls, all these older men.
Although I was 18 at the time and he was 30, gives me the ick to think about.
Right, yeah, guys, actually, we take that little woo back. That'd be me going out with an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
No.
When you put it like that,
yeah,
you want such different things, don't you? Like, you're in such a different space.
And I think it's exciting for the 18-year-old, but the 30-year-old, what are you playing at?
And Tash has put, I met my husband at work. We have a child and got married. Even though I'm only part-time at that job now, my favourite day of the week is when we're at work together.
No, stop. That one's really cute.
Sounds horrifically cheesy, but it's been 6 years and he's my soulmate. It wasn't my dream dancer job either. But everything happens for a reason. I just got a little goosebumps.
That's so
I love
cute.
that. This is what I love about the Daisy Dates group, because there's still people that have really met their person and have these lovely stories, which is what this podcast is about as well. It's not just for single people. So do you get in touch with your love stories?
You're making me want to go for a colleague again. How cute. To be fair, the majority was like, no.
And then Sarah got in touch as well and put, I dated a guy from work, but what was meant to be both casual and completely private got awkward as he was telling his colleagues how we were in love. That's so awkward, Sarah. My very good work friend laughed her head off when she found out, as she knew it was a very different story to the one he was sharing, and she soon corrected the office goss. Love that for your bestie.
I love that. Oh my goodness, that's like me and being on a different page. I mean, he wasn't in love with me, but he was taking the next step and I was taking a casual one.
That is so funny. See, we're so different to each other, which is why these stories are going to come on the episode are going to be so funny, because I'm like a little bit of a hope's romantic, and you're a little bit like, nope, see ya, aren't you?
Yeah.
But what conclusion have we come to then?
Would we do it again?
Question: would we do it again?
Would we do it again? Mine's nice and short. No, I don't. Oh, I don't know actually.
You know what? I feel like you should never cut off love.
Yeah.
If I was to meet someone at work, I probably would do it again, but it wouldn't be ideal. And I'd again listen to the advice we gave earlier and take it slow and not get mixed up in our emotions of staying in hotels or staying away with work. And you know what? On that note, I wouldn't invite people to my own space as well back so soon. I think dating and going home separately and not rushing things with someone that you already know. But when you already know them, it is hard to not escalate it quickly. But remember to take it slow with someone, or take it at your own pace, whatever that works for you.
Yeah, I think that maybe I would do it again, but I would make different decisions and not accelerate it on the first night. And...
accelerate on night 2 instead.
That was done as well. No, I'm joking, Mum. Don't listen to this. I think maybe I would, but it would have to be the right person.
Exactly. You know what? That's a good closing one. It's all about the right person. You don't want to close off to someone that could be potentially really great.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for listening. That was our first ever episode together here on the Daisy Dates podcast. Do like and subscribe, and please share. We will have a WhatsApp number coming your way very soon to get in touch, but do get in touch on the Daisie Dates Facebook group, which is actually for women, just to keep it a nice space for women to share dilemmas. But I want every single person, every type of person involved in this podcast. So we'd love to hear from all genders and men, and your points of view and dating as well. But we're Daisie Dates Podcast across TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, wherever.
And men, you're welcome there. So
everyone's welcome.
You've got lots of platforms to come and speak to us on, so don't be shy, for sure.
Slide on into the DMs in whatever way works for you. And we'll see you for episode 2, which is how we love, well, take that back, how to be happy single.
See you then.